Hello, I'm Jim Rohn, and today we are going to face a harsh truth that you might be trying to avoid. Loving someone who constantly runs from their emotions not only breaks your heart, but can also shape your future in ways you never expected. Have you ever wondered why you keep chasing someone who never seems ready to stay? Or why, despite trying your best, you still feel empty, as if this love is a puzzle with no solution? If this sounds familiar, you are not alone. Millions of people are stuck in this psychological spiral without realizing it's silently changing them, from how they see themselves to how they move forward in life. In this video, I will reveal the brutal reality behind loving an avoidant person, not to discourage you, but to help you understand what is truly happening in your mind and heart. We will explore the signs you may have overlooked, the long-lasting consequences this relationship may leave behind, and most importantly, a frank look at your future if nothing changes. This is not a fairy tale with a happy ending. This is the truth, and I promise to hide nothing. If you want a deeper understanding, want to find a way out, or simply don't want to miss what I'm about to reveal, stay with me until the end of the video. And if you find value in what I share, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we'll dive even deeper into topics like this. Now, let's begin. I'm often asked what happens if you stay attached to someone who constantly avoids, and I want to make this clear right away. I'm talking about those avoidant individuals who have never tried to heal, those who have no interest in opening up emotionally. If you choose to stay and both of you are trying to heal, working towards a better future, then that's great. Go for it. But what I want to talk about here is when the other person is completely indifferent, not the slightest bit interested in self-reflection or change. What happens then? Imagine me as a tour guide from the future, like the ghost of Christmas yet to come, leading you to preview what could be. If you've followed me for a while, you probably know I spent 7 years with someone like that, so I feel qualified to share a few interesting things about this possible future. Before we go deeper, I'm guessing you're thinking, but if I change, if I heal, won't the relationship get better? That question is natural, and I understand you hope your efforts can turn things around. But imagine this: you work hard to plant seeds, water them, wait for the tree to grow, while the other person just stands there watching, not even lifting a finger to help. Can your garden of love really thrive forever, or will it slowly wither due to lack of mutual care? My experience tells me that when only one person tries, the story rarely ends like a movie. So if you're wondering about your future with an emotionally unavailable avoidant, be prepared for a tough journey, but one that you can absolutely overcome if you know what you truly want. This is my true story, and I want you to picture it clearly. Around 3 years into the relationship, I started focusing on self-care, from personal development to healing the wounds in how I connected with others. At first, I naively believed that if I changed, if I made the effort, then the other person would naturally change too, would respond to me with a better version of themselves. But that wasn't the case. No matter how hard I tried, they never bothered to reflect on themselves, never cared to change their habits, face their wounds, or even learn how to build a healthy relationship. And I want you to be prepared for this. Walking the path of healing alone can be utterly exhausting. You might be battling your inner shadows on your own, maybe with a therapist, a coach, or anyone supporting you. But when the other person doesn't participate, doesn't care, you'll soon feel like you're running a marathon with no finish line. You pour in sweat, tears, and hope that the relationship will improve thanks to your effort, only to realize everything remains stuck. I've been there, hoping for a different ending, only to find emptiness. What I want to tell you is this: if you're sacrificing your energy to save a relationship where the other person won't even budge, reconsider. Because when only one person is trying, you won't just be tired. You might also lose yourself along the way. If you've just discovered attachment styles and think, oh, now I've figured it out, things will definitely change, I get it. I was once exactly where you are, thinking that just identifying the root of the problem would be enough to fix it and make everything fall into place. But hear me out. When you're the only one diving into change, breaking old habits on your own, confronting your attachment style and healing past wounds, while the other person just stands there like a stone wall, you'll soon feel drained. It's not that you need to fix something about yourself, it's that you're carrying the entire emotional world alone, and that's truly unfair. In the beginning, you might feel a bit of hope. Maybe they'll slip out something like, "Yeah, I realize the way I grew up affected my behavior." You'll think, "Wow, they get it now, surely things will get better." But don't celebrate too soon. Look closely. Are they actually changing? Are they willing to have real conversations with you, to listen, or at least give you a chance to speak without immediately shutting down, getting defensive, or blaming you back? Because no matter how much you improve your communication, if every time you speak up, you're met with coldness, avoidance, or blame shifting, all your efforts will go to waste. Over time, if you stay with this person, feelings of disappointment, frustration, and even resentment will begin to creep in. You might keep hoping, but when you're the only one fighting, the cost is not just exhaustion, it's the gradual erosion of your self-trust. When you're in a relationship like that, you'll slowly start to feel small, as if you're not allowed to fully be yourself, constantly having to tiptoe, measure every word so as not to make them shut down or blow up. You'll feel forgotten, like you're invisible, not a priority in their eyes. I've lived that feeling, coexisting with someone while still believing they didn't care about me. They never made an effort to show affection, only occasionally throwing out small crumbs of love, like faint light in a storm, just enough to keep me clinging to hope, but never enough to make me feel whole. I started blaming myself. I told myself to be more patient, more forgiving, to try harder to blend with them. Even during arguments, I lowered myself, mimicking their coldness and distance, even though that was completely against my nature. I'm not the kind of person who pushes people away, but I did it, naively hoping that if they felt abandoned, they would change. But no, I was only exhausting myself more. I had tried too hard, to the point of losing who I was. And then I realized, in a healthy relationship, you don't have to strain like that. You don't have to walk on eggshells, beg for attention, or change yourself to please someone. A safe relationship will make you feel valued, not like you're fighting alone in desperation. I learned that through many long days, and I hope you don't take as long as I did to realize it. Then I realized something. My anxious attachment style began to rise strongly. I craved validation, constantly needed reassurance, and I blamed myself. I thought, maybe I'm just too sensitive, maybe it's just my attachment style acting up again. But once I got out of that relationship, I could see clearly. My feelings weren't irrational. Who wouldn't feel insecure when being treated like they don't exist? Who wouldn't feel inadequate when constantly being ignored? I had blamed myself too much, to the point where depression crept in, damaging my self-esteem and sending my mental health into a downward spiral. Not to mention, that person had a habit of ending everything suddenly. Suddenly, as in after an argument. Or even when I simply expressed a small need, they would immediately imply that they were going to leave me, move out. It was as if I wasn't allowed to have feelings, wasn't allowed to want anything for myself. Every time that happened, I got scared. Scared to the point I didn't dare speak up anymore. I lived in constant tension, like one wrong word would shatter everything. Looking back, I understand that my reactions, the anxiety, the sadness, the doubt, weren't my fault. They were the voice of a heart trying to survive next to someone who was never truly there. When you're forced to wonder whether you're worthy of love, the problem isn't you, it's the person making you feel that way. I only wish I had realized that sooner, before fear held me captive for too long. If you're with someone who doesn't realize or refuses to realize how their behavior is hurting you, then you're going to endure a lot. Maybe they even believe you should just get used to it, that you should silently accept it. For me, the number of times that person suddenly ended the relationship became so frequent I stopped counting. Every time my self-worth was chipped away a little more, like someone carving tiny cuts into my heart with a knife. But I never dared to speak up about it. Why? Partly because when they came back, I was so relieved that I just wanted to forget all the previous pain. The rest was fear. Fear that if I spoke up, they'd think I was criticizing them and then they'd pull away again. Or worse, leave once more. I lived in a state of limbo, like walking a tightrope, afraid to take a wrong step in case everything collapsed. I was afraid of bothering them, afraid they'd think I was too demanding, afraid of that cold moment when they turned their back on me. Looking back, I see that I had imprisoned myself in that fear, too scared to ask for the respect I deserved. If you're in a similar situation, beside someone who refuses to acknowledge the impact they have on you, remember this: your silence is not the solution. It only prolongs the pain, makes you shrink more and more in your own story. It took me a long time to understand that when someone keeps hurting you and doesn't care, the problem isn't that you're not enough. It's that they were never truly worthy of your effort. If you're sitting there telling yourself, maybe everything will be okay if I change, if I heal, maybe they'll treat me differently, then I understand what you're hoping for. I'm not here to tell you what to do, not here to judge whether you should give them another chance. What I want is to share a perspective from my own experience and from those I've walked with. When you're with someone who isn't willing to change, who doesn't want to walk the path of healing with you, your efforts might vanish like the wind. But if you dare to let go, dare to walk away and focus on yourself, whether alone or with someone who is also trying like you, then what awaits you ahead is truly worth it. Imagine this: it's the feeling of freedom, the moment you reclaim your own life, living fully in the present instead of waiting for someone to change. It's when you rediscover your self-worth, learning to love your true self without needing anyone's validation. It's when you begin to meet the needs you've longed for others to fulfill, being heard, being understood, being embraced. I've seen it in myself and in so many others. When you stop trying to fix a relationship you're carrying alone, you will discover a stronger, more confident version of yourself. It's not an easy journey, but I promise you, on the other side of the pain is the light. It's you, standing tall and shining brighter than ever. In the end, what I want you to take away from this story is: being with an avoidant person who doesn't want to change can gradually cause you to lose yourself, your self-esteem, your confidence, even your mental health. I've walked that road, once hoping that if I tried hard enough, things would be different. But the truth is, when only one person is fighting for the relationship, the price is often too high. I'm not saying you have to walk away right now, but please see the reality clearly. If they're not willing to heal with you, you deserve a journey where you are valued, not one where you must endure. Breaking free from that cycle, I found freedom, rediscovered my worth, and learned to love myself without needing anyone's approval. You can do that too. It won't be easy, but it will absolutely be worth it. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, for listening to my story and walking with me through these complex emotions. I am truly grateful for your presence, because every view, every second you're here is the motivation that keeps me sharing. If this video touched your heart, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss the upcoming content. I'd really love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever experienced something similar? How do you feel about healing in an unbalanced relationship? Leave a comment below. Whether it's a short line or a long story, I appreciate it and will read every single one. This isn't just my channel. It's a space where we learn, grow, and find ourselves together. Let's make this a warm community where everyone feels seen and understood. Once again, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take good care of yourself, because you deserve it more than anyone else.